And I just want to say, I'm debt free.
Yay! You're debt free! Welcome to Debt Free Stories. We're so glad you're here.
I'm Jen.
And I'm Jill, and we are the hosts of the Frugal Friends podcast and also the host of this new YouTube series. You found yourself here. Good job. You negotiated the internet. And we have a really great inspirational story, but real life experience for you, talking about another debt-free journey. This one comes from Tina, and let's get into it.
Yes, Tina, thank you so much for joining us and giving us the opportunity to share your story.
Thanks, Jen. I'm excited to be here.
So tell us a little bit about you, Tina. Who are you? What should we know?
So I am a high school guidance counselor. I have been doing that for 28 years. Um, and I'm also a part-time financial coach that I have been doing for about 8 years. I'm single and I have a fur baby, a cat. So yeah, I'm really passionate. I'm very lucky that I have two jobs that I really, really love, helping two different sets of people.
Awesome. So what kind of inspired the financial coaching part of your life?
My story, I guess, of trying to get out of debt and, just being so done with that roller coaster of, um, I call it the credit card roulette, and just kind of having credit cards and using credit cards to pay off other credit cards, and just feeling completely overwhelmed with it, and stressed out, and not really having anybody to talk to about it, and feeling embarrassed and ashamed. Um, and I just didn't want to be in debt anymore. Back in the 2007-8 crisis that we went through, and so many people lost their homes and they lost so much. And I just wanted to be able to be a safe haven. And I knew I couldn't do that if I had my own debt. So I buckled down and just decided to make it my mission to become debt free. And when I finally did it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's so freeing to not be a slave to that debt. And so then I decided I'm going to try to help other people, that are feeling that shame and embarrassment and an aloneness that I used to feel, and help them know if I can do it as a recovering shopaholic, then anybody can do it. It's not easy. And I tell people it's not easy, but it can be done.
Yeah. So can you describe a little bit more about your debt? How much was it? What was it comprised of? How long did it take you to pay it off?
So, like most people, my debt revolved. So, I'd pay off some debt and then I'd add more, and then I'd pay it off and then I'd add more. So it evolved. I think at the highest point, it was probably over 175,000. When I first started, kind of paying off my debt and kind of debt snowballing it, so to speak, I was probably making around 40,000 in my position. This was back probably about 10 years ago when I finally got really serious about it. And I I still had fun, it still took me a few years before I really, really got serious about it and started doing some different strategies to make it go faster. Because I just started getting at the point where I was like, this isn't going fast enough. I want to be out of debt now, and then it would get frustrating because it just wasn't happening fast enough. So I started doing some different kinds of things that would help me make it go faster.
Yeah. So I know you included your mortgage in that number. So what was your just consumer debt that you paid off?
So mortgage debt was initially just over 100,000. And then student loan debt was about 30,000. Like I said, I had around $25,000 in credit card debt. And then my auto loans were usually around 40,000 because I always like to buy brand new.
Is that something that you've kept or you've changed related to needing a new car?
Well, honestly, my vehicle I've had, it's a 2009, so I have had it for 13 years. Yeah, so I haven't had to make that decision yet, and I have been saving to hopefully be able to pay cash for my next one, in the next year or 2.
Awesome. So, how long did it take you to pay off your non-mortgage debt? And then how long did it take you to pay off everything in total?
It took me about 10 years to pay off the non-mortgage debt, and then another 5 years to pay off my mortgage.
Oh, that's such a refreshing and realistic time frame to
Mm-hmm.
hear about. What was the propelling factor for you that led you to pay off all of your debt? I know a lot of people will pay off consumer debt and kind of stop there and just keep making their mortgage payment. What was it that led you to decide to pay it all off?
I just didn't wanna be I just didn't wanna be in debt. I just wanted that, to be debt free. You know how some people just are like, I want to be a millionaire or I want to do this. I wanted to be debt free. Um, and I think part of it is I just wanted to be able to invest and save and give. And I didn't feel like I could do that when I had that debt hanging over my head because my money was going to it was going to creditors. And instead of going it to creditors, I wanted it to be able to go to charitable organizations that I was interested in.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And you didn't go super hard. A lot of times when people want to be debt free, they will go super hard, but you really couldn't do that because you were paying this off for upwards of 10 years, 10 to 15 years. So what was your mindset? How did you go about having this debt-free desire and pursuing that for 10, 15 years?
Yeah. I would say the last 5 years, I was super, super motivated. But the 10 years prior to that, I still wanted to kind of I'm a spendaholic. I tell people I'm a recovering shopaholic. I love spending money. So to see it just like sitting in a savings account was always really hard for me. I mean, what good is money sitting in a savings account? It's made to be spent. And that's where a lot of my underlying problems came from. Um, but I came to realize that there was a bigger picture with, you know, being able to give and save and invest. So as I was slowly walking through my debt freedom, and spending money and, kind of like I said, during that time I bought a brand new $40,000 car, which had I been, really serious, I would have bought a used car. But I didn't. But the last 5 years of that journey is when I was really focused. I only had my mortgage, and that was the last thing. And I figured, you know what? It took me 10 years to pay off everything else. I'm done. I'm going to get this stinking mortgage paid off. And I know some people are like, paying off a mortgage, that hurts. You don't get um, when you file your taxes, you don't get your deductions and stuff like that. But I didn't care. I just wanted to be done with it. So, yeah.
That's so relatable for so many, just
Yeah.
that emotional weight of the mortgage. But what I'm hearing you say is that you can accomplish this without doing everything perfectly. Is that accurate?
What?
Yes. You just have to be okay with it taking a little bit longer. And I was okay with that for a while.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about your income. I know you said you started at 40,000, hopefully over 10, 15 years that increased. What were you making by the time you finished paying off your debt?
I was making around 75 by the time I finally got debt free.
That's great. And how did you go about increasing your income over that span of time?
So at the school system that I work at, well, one of the things that helped was I got my master's degree, and so in the school system, if you get your master's degree, you get an automatic bump in pay, um, and then you get increment annual adjustments also, primarily, and then my coaching income also when I finally started doing that, but that was toward the end of the whole debt payment thing.
Nice. And any inheritances, tax refunds, lump sums that helped you chip away at it faster?
Yeah.
Nice. So good old fashioned hard work.
Yes.
Wow.
And it was honestly making intentional choices and choosing, okay, I am not going to spend my money on this vacation this year, or I don't need any more stinking clothes. I have enough clothes in my closet. So it was just making some intentional choices and having a plan and saying, okay, I want to have this amount paid off by the end of this year. And just what they call debt snowballing it, and just putting any excess money I had toward that debt, and that was really hard sometimes.
Yes. So let's talk about the benefits that you've experienced from taking so long. I know a lot of people can pay debt off really quickly. You've got a really reasonable timeline, 15 years with the mortgage included. And we have to imagine that there's a lot of impact of what you developed in those 15 years that you're now bringing into debt freedom. What would you say about that? What are some of the lessons that you learned in that journey that you're now carrying with you at this stage?
I realized that I'm a strong woman. It took a lot of strength to make that happen. And even in the times when I didn't think that I questioned myself, other people around me questioned, you know, why I was wanting to be debt free and why that was so important to me. I stayed true to my goals. And I still try to do that now is create those goals and try to stay true to them. Um, Gosh, what else? Consistency, I think, is another one. And patience. Oh my gosh, just staying patient and knowing that, you can have balance and um, just do things in your timing. And it's okay. You're not doing anything to um, satisfy somebody else's timeline. You get to do it on your own terms.
Well, that kind of leads into my next question. What would you say to someone who is where you were 15, 20 years ago, who considers themselves a shopaholic or just thinks spending money is fun, and I don't think I can pursue this lifestyle because it's going to take me 10, 15 years, and I don't want to stop having fun for that long? What would you tell them?
I would challenge them to figure out why spending is important to them. What is it that they get out of spending? Obviously, most of us, if we love spending, we get that endorphin excitement, of spending money. But I know for me, when I really sat down and took a hard look at why am I spending so much money? Why is that important to me? I was spending out of boredom. I was spending because I didn't have anything better to do, and I was spending because I wanted compliments from people. I bought a brand new car because I wanted people to go, "Ooh, you've got such a great car." I bought new outfits because I wanted people to compliment me on my outfits. Um, I was bored on Saturday mornings, so I would just shop. Even if I didn't need anything, I would go and buy because it made me feel good. So I had to go and find other things that made me feel good that didn't involve spending money, like walking and reading. And um, finally, you know what? It was so interesting because once I started saving money, that became my excitement versus spending it. But that's so hard when you're in that spending mentality to think differently. And it's just a matter of, kind of flipping that mindset switch and really taking a look at why you spend. Um, and trying to figure out, what is it that you really want? What are your goals? And are you spending, is your spending keeping you from attaining the true goals that you really want?
Oh, that is so helpful. If we give ourselves the space to establish some of these new patterns, we can relate differently. We can shift our mindset. For you, how long do you think it took to actually really embrace that mindset shift?
Honestly, it happened in about 5 minutes because I walked into my closet one day and I went, I don't need any more clothes. I don't need anything else. And it was like that was the time that I went, I'm done. And I started saving money versus spending it.
And how far along were you in your journey when you had that 5-minute realization?
Probably about halfway through.
I think that's people are going to find that so encouraging, Tina, because there's so much, people writing stories on the internet and people sharing stories on Instagram that are all like very big and flashy and sexy. But I think it'll be encouraging to people to know, like, I did it in 10 years, in 15 years. You can do it at your own pace. It doesn't have to be something that people are going to write books about. Like, you can just do it. You can just do it.
And following that beautiful piece of encouragement, we are turning back to you, Tina. We have come to the time of the show where you get to celebrate this amazing accomplishment. $175,000 of debt, including your mortgage, paid off in 15 years, starting at about $40,000 a year to $75,000 a year that you were earning. And here you are with this beautiful wisdom to share with people as a result of that journey. And so, however you want to mark this time and celebrate, you go for it.
So I just want to say thank you for this opportunity, John, because I've been debt free for quite a long time now, but I never publicly expressed it and never got a chance to publicly do that. So, you know, I'm so excited you're giving me the opportunity to do it. And I just want to say, I'm debt free.
Yay! You're debt free!
Debt free for several years, and it's so freeing and liberating. And I want all your listeners to experience the joy of being debt free.
Congratulations, Tina. We are so thankful that we can be a space for you to publicly celebrate. It's an honor for us, and it's an honor for us to share these stories with you, our listeners, our watchers. And this is something we want to continue to do because we know how inspiring these debt-free stories have already been for you. Just the first couple that have released, we've gotten such great feedback. So thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Frugal Friends on YouTube, and press that notifications bell so every time we post a debt-free story, you are the first to know about it.
Yes, we'll see you at the next amazing debt-free story. Keep binging this stuff.
And wherever you listen to podcasts, subscribe to Frugal Friends podcast for more practical and really useful tips on how to pay off debt and reach financial freedom.